I have a confession to make with you guys. I have a serious confession to make with you guys. I have a serious addiction in my life. I have this serious addiction. I've had this addiction since high school, and it's slightly been getting better over the few years, but I still have a long way to be fully healed. No, it's not pizza. This addiction has serious consequences to my own health, well-being, my relationship with friends, family, coworkers, but most importantly, my relationship with God. This addiction has seriously made me more anxious, more depressed, causes serious FOMO in my life, makes me not present with myself and others. It makes me escape my problems instead of dealing with them. It helps me mask my emotions so I don't process them, and it always creates more from me. It always creates more of my intention and more of my affection. Do you know what I'm addicted to? I'm addicted to my phone. I'm serious. Shh. I'm addicted to my phone. And I know I might be overreacting just a little bit, but I'm being serious. Everything I said there was just true. This addiction I'm facing, I don't face it alone, and honestly, I feel like it's an addiction that is normalized in our current society today. You guys might not see it as a problem since you are literally the first generation of human history that's so unique that you don't know what it's like to live without the internet or without a smartphone. You don't know what it's like, and that's very special for you guys, and it's literally different, and you guys are entering into a world that the world just doesn't really know the full depths and consequences yet. But in this new digital era, we might be in a serious crisis more than ever before. There's little debate among psychologists, sociologists, and ordinary people for that every leap forward that we make in digital technology, we pay a cost. With all the screens, entertainment options, outlets for curating a fabric image of our lives, we are distracting ourselves into spiritual oblivion. The endless dopamine drip feed of new information, photos, updates, headlines, likes, comments, and the outrage have so dulled our once hunger attention spans that many of us, if we realize it or not, no longer have the attentive wherewithal to endure a single meal, a movie, a conversation, or a get-together without itching, twitching fingers, stabbing at a touchscreen display. The same digital technology useful for communicating, finding your way home, and enjoying art can also distract and addict us, plunge us into unrealistic fantasy, damage relationships, and incite us to not even feel God's presence in our lives. That's one of the first points I want to make tonight, that your technological addiction could be the greatest distraction to you following Jesus. And we've been talking in the series about our habits, and I believe this, that every single one of us here in this room, including me, has bad habits when it comes to our devices. Now, a lot of you don't have phones, and that's okay. Some of you do. Some of you are, not even listening to me right now because you're on your phone. That's cool. Some of you don't do that, but you have other screens in your life that you're addicted to. One of the innovators and presidents of Facebook that helped create the social media and technological empire that we all know and love, Sean Parker, said this in an interview once. He said, "God only knows what this is doing to our children's brains." He and others had created a genius money-making vortex that sucks you in and grabs you before you have a second to think. He continues in this interview and says, "The thought process that goes into building these applications is all about how do we consume as much of your time and attention as possible. And to do this, we have to give you a little dopamine rush because someone liked or commented on your post. And that will make you produce more content, which will produce more likes and comments. It's a social validation feedback loop. It's exactly the kind of thing a hacker like myself would come up with because, listen to this, you're exploiting a vulnerability in human psychology. The technological empire's game plan for you is distraction and addiction. James Williams, called the tech one of the most important people in the tech industry, says it's the largest, most standardized, most centralized form of attention control in human history. The average iPhone user touches their phone at least 2,000 times a day, and for about 2 hours, and that's across the board, including adults. But if you look at for you guys in the demographic that's in this room, it's a lot more, up to 8 to 12 hours a day, especially if you include all screens. And that's not even the scariest part about this. That even in 1932, an author named Huxley wrote about man's infinite appetite for distraction. He envisioned a future dystopia, not of dictatorship. This is 1932, when World War II, World War I was going on. All that, he was like, no, the dictatorship of the future is distraction, where sex, entertainment, and business will tear apart the fabric of society. And in 1985, listen to this, Neil Postman wrote a short book called Amusing Ourselves to Death. It was all about the TV and entertainment and its effects in Western culture. And in the 80s, the two areas of society he predicted where we would suffer the most damage because of tech was politics and religion. In politics, he predicted in 1985 that TV celebrities would replace intelligent, wise leaders. And in religion, he predicted that discipleship would give way to superficial, feel-good spirituality. If that's not 2022, I don't know what is. This is the world that we're living in. Because the dictatorship of our day is not really that crazy. It's just distraction. The dictatorship of our day is distraction. Because of this, very few of us have the power of sustained attention. We have horrible attention spans. Every single one of you, since I started talking, has checked out. And I know this because studies show that our attention spans are less than a goldfish. Listen, we have attention spans around 8 seconds. They have 9 seconds. We're losing to goldfish, people. Goldfish have longer attention spans than humans do. But I don't want to be just Debbie Downer tonight and talk about all the negativity. Listen, I am 25 years old. I love technology. I love what it could do. There's been great things about tech, like maps. Yo, I cannot, if it wasn't for the GPS on my phone, bro, I'd be lost everywhere I go, especially here in the South where it just seems like you're driving for 4 hours on one road. Like, it's crazy. I need that in my life. I'm so thankful for that. Also, the weather. Like, I really love the weather, that I could see what temperature it is on my phone. There's a lot of good things about technology, but we need to start talking about the negative effects of what devices and what technology, no matter what you do, video games, phones, Netflix, whatever is your thing, is doing to you. Because our society as a whole, think of the political mess we're in, the complexity, and I know you guys don't get it, but just right now, the complexity of the modern world, but just I know the complexity of high school and middle school, the demands for us to be fully present and attentive people, but then mix in with that how your life can be destroyed because someone takes a picture of you and makes fun of you. I've heard that going on in Cruise. Oops, I said that. Yeah, I know you guys are taking pictures of other people and laughing about that. Yeah, that's horrible. But it's crazy that our devices, we could do that. We could just pinpoint something. Oh, that person looks like stupid right now. Let me take a picture, send it to my friends, and we all make fun of them. It's crazy the capability that you guys have. But the most important thing, though, is that when we lose our attention spans, we're just not like losing in life, we're losing our souls. It's not just our emotional health or capacity to like live in ease of our own body, but to our spiritual life as well. And what does that mean? Well, it's our ability. What does spiritual life mean? It's our ability to give and receive love to our relationships with God and other people. And write this down if you're taking notes. Without attention, we can't have a flourishing spiritual life. Some of you guys get so distracted when you're reading the Bible because your attention span is really horrible. And technology is doing that, making it worse for you. Some of you guys can't pray for more than 2 minutes. And over time, society's getting less and less and less. It's because your attention, you can't focus. I see this with myself. I see this with my own self. Like, I can't, sometimes I'll be talking to you, and if I got a million things going on in my head, and I apologize if I ever do this to you, and I start staring off because I'm thinking of a million different things, I sometimes not even attentive to my own, like, literally, you can ask Gabby, I'm so bad sometimes. I'm not even, like, half the time listening to her sometimes because I got a million things in my, not half the time, I'm joking. But there's sometimes she's talking to me, and I'm not listening because I got a million things going on in my head. Attention matters. And I believe the future of the church, a.k.a. followers of Jesus, needs to have a radical approach to technology. I'm not talking about like living like the Amish, but we need to do things differently if we're going to flourish. We need to be people. Like, and here's the crazy thing, if you guys didn't even know this, that like Steve Jobs and used to be Steve Jobs, he used to do this, and there's stories of Silicon Valley, of tech executives paying for their children to attend device-free schools because they see the harm that it's doing to young students and young people. And so we need a radical approach if we're going to get this right to how we handle devices in our lives. And like many of the people I know and trust call for a digital aestheticism or a digital rural life, a.k.a. it's a way to control the technology in your life so it doesn't control you. Some of you for this entire time been trying to listen to me talk, but yet you just feel the urge to just check your phone. That's crazy what that's doing to your brain, your psychology, and so many other things. Maybe the reason why you can't experience God in your life is because of the thing that's right here, or the thing that you're looking at right now. Or here's the deal: you're not going to have a great life in general. You're just not going to be a great human being. That's how serious this is. And this is my main thing when it comes to technology. Does this device, whatever device it is, it's a laptop, iPad, video games, does your device control you or do you control it? Can you put it down? Can you shut it off for a whole day? Can you leave your house without your phone? Can you go a week without playing video games? If you said no to any of those, that device controls you. Because then you can't be a human being without that device. And that's scary. And so, rather than, Paul says this when he's writing to the Corinthians. He says that I will not be mastered by anything. Chapter 6, verse 12. And he's talking about different things. He's talking about He's obviously not talking about cell phones because or technology, because technology is a new thing, but the concept still remains that, man, are you being controlled by devices or are they controlling you? So rather than going through the digital vortex and just numbing yourself out, Paul also says in 2 Corinthians to take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. And so, listen, it's wrong to just say that your phone is evil. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying just to get off the grid and like live like the Amish. I'm not saying that. But there's different things, and listen, it applies differently for so many different people. Some of you are literally not addicted to your phone, and that's great. I applaud you. But I think majority of us here in this room are addicted to our phones. And we need a radical approach to it. Well, Anthony, I use the Bible app on my phone. You can get a Bible. I'll give you a Bible that you can read and understand. Well, Anthony, I listen to music, I listen to podcasts. Well, talk about how to curate your phone so that it can help you, not destroy you. But that's what you have to do. And I think this is really important because there's a huge, like literally 8 years of life is in this room, from 5th grade to 12th grade. So it's really hard for me to start talking and getting really practical about, hey, this is what you need to start doing, because everyone's at different stages. Some of you guys don't have phones, and that's great. I would say, listen, wait as long as possible, honestly. I know the pressure, what it's like to have a phone. I remember, so I grew up, my dad was he was super smart with his money, and so he would always, I remember all my friends having the internet, and I wanted Wi-Fi in my house so bad, and he would just say, no, we're not doing that yet, because he made really wise choices with his money. And so I remember having people having like really expensive phones, and I just had this stupid flip phone. And I remember being in high school, sitting in these classes, thinking I wasn't good, thinking I wasn't valuable, thinking I wasn't in the crew, and I wasn't very special because of the devices that I didn't have. But listen, you don't need them. You can be a person without a device. You could be a whole human being, a flourishing human being without social media. Some of you want social media so bad. I'm telling you, it's just an endless dopamine rush, and it will not satisfy you. You will always want it more. You'll always want to do more. You don't need it. I'm just letting you know, take my advice, take it or leave it. But you can wait as long as possible. I know this. I'm making sure my kids, they're going to have a radical different approach. They're not going to have a smartphone until maybe they're 17, 18. I'm not sure. I don't even know if phones will be a thing. Speaking about metaverse and VR, I don't know. But listen, we're in this time right now, in this season of life, and we need to have a different radical approach. And so I get it. I get we're all in different seasons, and that's why talking with crews and breaking out into crews and just being honest and vulnerable is really important. And maybe you think this is all made up and I'm just being like an old guy that doesn't get it. Listen, I'm just going to be so honest with you. I get it. I really do. And I see the scariness of the future where things do go to VR. Studies show, man, the more you spend on social media, the more likely you will become depressed. And I think that's true because our hearts are prone to wander. Our hearts are prone to compare ourselves. And so, yes, social media isn't a bad thing. That's not what I'm saying. But since our hearts are corrupt, we can go to those things and see people's posts and be like, oh, man, they're hanging out with friends. I wish I was hanging out with friends. Oh, man, they're a couple. I can't believe they're dating. Listen, like, I'm just going to be honest. Like, I didn't post a picture of me and Gabby on Valentine's Day because I know there's so many single people that follow me that would have watched that, looked at that photo, and been more depressed because of it. Listen, I don't need to post a picture of my beautiful, amazing, gorgeous wife on Valentine's Day just because the culture's doing it. I treat every day like Valentine's Day. What's up? You feeling me? All right. Following Jesus in this day and age, you need a radical approach. Not get it off your life, but have a very different approach. And so I'm just going to issue you guys, as we kind of land the plane, 5 different challenges for you to do. If you want to do all 5, man, go for the stars. I believe you're going to see serious a relapse probably, and you will have a few days where you feel like you're not a human being anymore. But then once you get over that relapse and you see how amazing life is without a phone or without technology consuming your life, I'm telling you, it'll be amazing. But there are 5 things I thought of that I think apply to most people, and which is this. Put up the 5 things real quick. Number 1 is get an alarm clock. Do you guys know what an alarm clock is? So it's it's on your phone, but they make these actual devices where you actually don't need your phone. And here's the deal. Listen, so many of you, and I've done this for so many years, the first thing you go to when you wake up is your device, your phone. And then before, for the people that have a phone, please, let's take this a little seriously, please. Before you even think, before you even process your day, before you even talk to God and let God say to you what he needs to say to you, you let Instagram, you let Snapchat, you let TikTok influence you. And so listen, you don't need to. That's the first thing you do when you wake up, look at your phone and start consuming. It's not healthy. It's just not healthy. Try it. Get an alarm clock. It'll change your life. Number 2, don't be on the phone 30 minutes before bed. I was debating what number to put, and 30 minutes before the bed. Some of you literally have sleep problems because you're looking at a blue light screen for so many hours before you go to bed. Your brain can't process that. And so literally, put the phone down for 30 minutes before you go. Put down screens before 30 minutes before you have to go to bed. I guarantee you'll have a really good night's sleep once you get your body adjust to it. Number 3, don't use your phone for the first hour of your day, especially social media. Is this challenge hard or what? I believe you guys can do it if you succeed. But for those of you that have a phone, don't use social media for the first hour. Don't go TikTok. Don't reply. Don't send a selfie to all your streaks on Snapchat for the first hour of the day. Have that day. If you're really following Jesus or you just want to really be a good human being, pursue Jesus in that hour. Just talk to him. Use other things. Listen to a podcast. Listen to music. Listen to the Bible app. There's other things you can do. There's other good apps that you can consume, but don't use social media. There's this thing, if you guys know, on your iPhones, it's called screen time. I have it on my phone, and so at 10:30 every night, I can't access some devices. And at 10:30 in the morning, it lets me have those devices. You could set time limits. If you could see, I have Instagram and TikTok right now blocked off because I set for myself, every 10 minutes, after 10 minutes of using that app, it just shuts off. And Gabby's the only one that has a password so that if I need to do something or whatever, but it's rarely ever the case. 10 minutes a day. So I'm not, because I've been up to like maybe 2 hours, 3 hours a day on TikTok, just looking at people, and then TikTok knows what I like, and so then I get really jealous because I see all these preachers, and they're like, oh my gosh, they're so good at communicating. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that youth group. They have so many more students. They look like they're having so much fun. I wish I can create a program like that. Oh crap, that church everyone looks so happy. Oh my goodness, I wish I had that church. And for 3 hours. Oh my goodness. I follow a lot of fitness people, man. They know what they're doing. Oh, it's just trash, man. So set up some screen times. I recommend for you guys just 25 minutes a day to do that. And the thing is, it's like all these rules, right? I just listed 4 things for you to do that are just challenges that are really hard, that are restricting you. And that's what a lot of you guys think Christianity is all about, that Christianity is all a bunch of rules. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. That's literally partially true. But the beautiful thing is when you're following Jesus, you're following a person. You're not walking away from things. You're walking away from all life, but you're following a person. His name is Jesus. And so do things. Instead of doing whatever, do things that you love to do instead. There's so many different things. Like you can read. Some of you are like, what, reading? Yeah, if you want to start reading, you could do that. Maybe play board games with families, hanging out with friends with no devices, play sports, try out a new hobby, do something you've always wanted to do that you never had the time to do. And here's some more ideas if you want to get even more into it. Maybe create a recurring schedule for when your phone will be powered down and put away. Minimize the number of apps on your devices. Take a weekly Sabbath. Maybe this is for some of you older students and older young adults here in this room too. Take a weekly Sabbath away from a device and screen. Say, for one day, 24 hours, I'm not going to look at a screen. Establish limits and parameters for particular devices, apps, or media. And establish, this is really cool, establish a no-device zone. Like the dinner table, like the car maybe, or while you're out with friends, or your bedroom, whatever. I believe some of this stuff, if you use wisdom, you could talk to your crew leaders, you apply it to your life, you will start to see some changes in your life. Because your technology addiction will be the greatest distraction of you actually following Jesus.